The money line on either side is minus 110. I'd lay off I'd go points. There's no doubt. That seems to be the better bet. The next game, which I'm interested in, because this has got overs written all over it. Arizona versus the Rams. Both teams demonstrating that they can score lots and lots and lots of points. Jared Goff, if he can find Sammy Watkins again, could be dangerous. His confidence has been rattled. They're giving Arizona 3.5, so the Rams are the favorite in this. I like the Rams by a full touchdown in this game.
I like the Rams by 2 touchdowns in this game. We've talked about Arizona before on this show, about how I feel. I don't think they're that team. What is this, 2009 I'm supposed to worry about? Carson Palmer to Larry Fitzgerald? Stop it right now. The Rams are a great bet. The Rams are a bet you bet here at the minus 3.5. Hopefully, maybe, if you're willing to, hold out your guns and take the chance of it moving to 4 and, like I am, maybe it even drops to 3 if there gets some late action on it. I doubt it, but if you're willing to, sit around and wait until kickoff, sometimes you can get that number, but I don't think it's going to matter in this instance. I like the Rams in this game. I'm big on the Rams this year. I've said it before. The Rams are going to be really good, and right now they're good. And they're good enough to beat Arizona. They're going to do it. It's going to, like I said, 2 touchdowns at least, and this is a game where I really like the tees when I flip it up and I'm getting plus 2.5.
Yeah, I like this game a lot, and I like the overs on this game a lot.
A big-time over in this game as well, yep.
Which takes us to the next game, which will probably be on the unders. Baltimore, who I've yet to figure out. I don't know what's going on at Baltimore. They take on Minnesota with Case Keenum, who's actually starting to look like a quarterback. Now, I don't know if it's the slant offense. I don't know what it is. Baltimore is plus 5.5. They're the dog in this matchup. I can't imagine that both of these teams are going to score more than 20 points.
I'll tell you what, Case Keenum, he ran that same kind of offense in college, and Case Keenum's a serviceable guy. But if you're a Minnesota fan and you're a fan of the Purple People Eaters, you got to really be happy to hear that Teddy Bridgewater's practicing again, and he's getting healthy and he's getting close. Bridgewater's a great talent. I know Bradford came in and had a nice stint there. Once Bridgewater gets back, though, for Minnesota, they have a lot of tools on that team. Minnesota's a very good team. But Baltimore is a pariah for me. I can't figure them out like you this year. Every time I bet against them, they win. Every time I bet them, they lose. So I'm going to stay off this game both ways. I probably won't even add it to my teaser. But if I was going to add it to the teaser, I'd probably have Minnesota at the plus 1.5 points after you tease it down.
Not bad. Again, more teams I should be able to figure out, but I can't. Carolina at Chicago. Carolina's only minus 3 in this game. That doesn't seem right to me. I mean, Chicago is serviceable at best. I don't want to overhype Chicago. They're just sort of there. But Carolina hasn't done anything to... This is the old Carolina team. This is 2 years ago Carolina. This is the Super Bowl Carolina team again. They're playing like that team.
This has trap game written all over it from a betting standpoint. I haven't even looked at the way the number's going, but I can guarantee you the public's going to be heavy on Carolina come Sunday.
Minus 3. Carolina, that's crazy.
And I like it as well. But like I said, it's one of those games where it's a trap game, and I could see them getting clipped by a late field goal to lose this game. So I'm really not going to touch the minus 3 on the half-point parlay. But what I am going to do is I'm going to tease this and get it to Carolina plus 3. So at the very least, at the end of the game, I think that if I'm feeling it's a little strenuous there, I get the push even on the tease, and I live to fight another day. It might not be the optimal outcome, but as long as that machine's making noise at the end of Sunday when football's over, boys and girls, we live to fight another day, and we're fighting the long haul here.
Yeah, we're in those games now. There are a bunch of teams down at the bottom that are circling, like our next team, Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. I like Blake Bortles. I like the Jacksonville team. They are minus 3 to Indianapolis. Indianapolis sucks, but they do score points. But somehow they magically score points against everybody.
Yep, I'll tell you, I don't know what's going on down there with Luck. I mean, Brissett is a pretty good quarterback. He comes out of the Belichick system. He's a good guy to hold down the fort. I don't think he's the kind of guy that you want to hang your hat on. He's not a next level talent, but I think he definitely has enough talent to make a few plays and score some points. But as a whole, I think the Colts have just been exposed for being a one pony show with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I completely agree about it. It's a layoff game in my mind. I don't know how this is going to play out. Why is Tampa? Go ahead.
I think in that game that there's every chance that Fournette goes crazy in that game, and Bortles has a huge game, but there's every chance that it ends up being like a 9-3 game or something crazy like that.
Yep, and Fournette is questionable in day-to-day, and he's a little banged up, and I can see him resting. Right. There's a lot going on with that game. Tampa Bay and Buffalo is off the board. Any particular reason?
I'm not really too sure what's going on in this game. I mean, I know there's some injuries that they're waiting to see, what's going on. You got Matthews, who's questionable. Gaines is questionable from Buffalo. Jameis Winston is questionable, so that's probably the main factor in this game.
Everybody's got it off the board right now. It's crazy how off the board it is.
This will be one of those games where I'll probably it'll pop back on the board on Saturday night when I go put in a couple last-minute teasers and stuff, and I'll probably throw Buffalo on my teaser there just for the simple reason that Winston being banged up doesn't bode well for a Tampa Bay offense that really needs him to perform.
I agree. New Orleans and Green Bay. Well, now that Green Bay no longer has a quarterback, how do I not back up the bus, give up 5.5 points, and take New Orleans in a flat-out track meet to destroy Green Bay?
The one thing that scares me about that is Mike McCarthy. He's just a great coach, and he can scheme his way into being, without Rodgers even being a 10-6 team, maybe even 11-5. So, this game is very, very weird for me. I have zero desire to bet Green Bay even getting the points in this game till we see what's going on. And I was talking with my dad as we were watching the games last weekend, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Pop, is New Orleans for real?" And I think New Orleans might be for real this year. I think New Orleans is a good team. I think their offense is strong. I think that Drew Brees is one of those kind of guys that anytime he's on the field, there's a chance that he could put a touchdown in no matter who the defense is. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tease this game down and get New Orleans at a +1. And I'm going to roll with that and shoot the dice here in this game on a teaser.
My feedback on that would be he's got to find Snead, who's now back on the field. He's got to find Thomas more consistently. He's not finding his number 1 and his number 2 on the field consistently. They're relying on I don't know if it's a matter of Breeze's arm, if it's just a matter of old, or the offensive line is just Swiss cheese, and they're trying to get the ball out of his hands quicker and not giving enough time to the deep receivers. But it's certainly not that New Orleans team. So, Orleans.
Remember, their offensive coordinator Morton is now the Jets' offensive coordinator, and you can see that in the Jets' offense the way McCown is running the team. So, I'm not too sure who New Orleans' new offensive coordinator is. I really haven't been up to date. Like I said, up until last week, I really haven't taken too much notice of New Orleans, but they were, throwing the ball all over the field last week, and it was pretty fun to watch. So hopefully they can keep that up.
Dallas at San Francisco. Dallas is giving up 6 to San Francisco. I don't think anybody wants to. I'm sorry. It's 7. It's 6.5 to 7, depending on who you're looking at. I'll go with the win. They're saying -6.5. Dallas, San Francisco. I think that San Francisco is going to pull this out of their rear end. San Francisco strikes me as that team.
They're definitely a blue-collar team. I've discussed this before, but I like Dallas in this game. It's a touchdown. As long as it doesn't go to 7 and it hovers at 6.5, I'm going to play Dallas in this game on the hopes that Ezekiel Elliott is going to be charged and focused after being told that he's able to play. And I think that Dallas comes out in this game, especially a game like this, and I think they're going to take charge, and I think they're going to win this game, and I think they're going to do it rather handily. I think this is a short spread, and I had it at 9 when I made the spread.
Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's getting 5.5. I'm picking Pittsburgh. I will give 5. I will give 10. I will give 20. I have no faith in Cincinnati. None.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh coming off a loss, they don't. Coming off that big victory last week, they're just, Pittsburgh. They don't play around down there. Tomlin doesn't mess around. Mike Tomlin's a coach. Those guys are about their business down there.
Yeah,
I like that. He wants to win the game, man. At the end of the day, Tomlin wants to win, and he doesn't care how he does it, pretty, ugly, or anything in between. So I like that play as well. I like Pittsburgh minus the 5.5. I'm not big on Cincinnati. I haven't been all year. I'm still not. I don't think that they have the horses to run with Pittsburgh when things get tough, and I look for a big game from Brown in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, for the sleeper bet of the week, Chargers at Denver. It's basically even or a pick 'em. I think the Chargers have the hot hand. They found how to win. I don't know how anybody can lay off the Chargers right now, especially a team that usually covers.
Oh yeah, I mean even on ESPN, the predictor has it at 59.2% that the Chargers win the game.
Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind. Once the Chargers usually figure out how to win, and for those of you who don't know Charger history, they go on long streaks of losing and long streaks of winning. If they get on a long streak of winning, they could pull themselves completely out of the toilet. The team has demonstrated that previously and gone to the playoffs at being 0-3 or 0-4. I can't remember that season. But yes, they are capable of doing it.
Yeah, and it looks like the spread's so close to a pick'em and whatnot as of now, even off the board in some places. Demarius Thomas is questionable. Brandon Marshall is questionable.
Yeah, so is Simeon.
Yeah, exactly. And even Melvin Gordon is questionable for you guys.
Yep.
So, that's just one of those games where I'd probably lay off and I'd wait to see how the chips fall a little bit. But I do like the Chargers in this game as well. The Broncos defense it's tough to bet against them. But I think that this is, like you were saying, the Chargers are starting to roll a little bit here, and I think that the Broncos are starting to regress a bit, and Simeon is becoming who we thought he was. So I think this is going to be a pretty good game, and I think the Chargers do pull this one out here.
I do too. It'll be a big deal in their first win at home. Seattle and New York. I wouldn't want to be the New York Giants Sunday afternoon against Seattle. Seattle coming off the bye. Seattle's -6. Seattle looks like old Seattle. Their defense looks like old Seattle. They're that team again. They're going to be in the hunt all the way till the end in the NFC.
Yeah, look, once Seattle gets things rolling, we all know how they handle business up there. As much as I hate numbnuts coaching that team up there, they're gonna be right there in the NFC, like you were saying. I think this is kind of a trap game though, because let me tell you something about the Giants that people need to understand. The Giants have a lot of talent on that team. They just haven't been clicking this year. They have some injuries, some wide receiver problems. There's no doubt about that. Oh, what a monstrous shot. Holy Toledo, Batman. Sorry, I'm watching the Dodgers.
Did the Dodgers finally close their sweep out?
No, it's 3-2 Chicago now. Justin Turner just hit a moonshot. He just hit an absolute bomb. Sorry about that.
How good are the Dodgers? The Dodgers are about to sweep their way into the World Series, and God help anybody they face in the World Series if they're that hot.
Oh boy,
they've got pitching and hitting. Ugh.
I can't wait. I hope so. I hope it is the Dodgers. I know we're regressing again, but I hope it is the Dodgers, and I hope it is my Yankees. And let me tell you what, I'm ready to go to war with those baby bombers against anybody at this point.
It's a good game. You were about to say about Eli Manning and company.
Oh, yeah, the Giants, yeah. They have some wide receiver problems right now, but they have a lot of talent on that team. I think that defense has been a little bit taken for granted almost because of how much they've been on the field this year. I think when the Giants are moving the ball offensively, the defense feeds off of that. And in the middle, you got snacks in the middle there. They got a good defense. And I think that the Giants are the kind of team that could give Seattle problems here. I don't see Seattle covering in this game. I see Seattle winning by a field goal in a tough-fought game in the Meadowlands. It'll always be the Meadowlands to me. So, yeah, I don't have any desire to bet this game here, but I think I do have a desire to tease the Giants up to about 11.5 or 12, though. Side
note, since you actually have to deal with this as a Jets and Giants fan and the fact that your team plays in New Jersey, why didn't the Raiders just go to Santa Clarita? Has anybody questioned this other than me? I mean, San Francisco doesn't play in San Francisco. The Raiders clearly just wanted a new stadium. I don't know why they didn't go to Santa Clarita, which was 20 minutes away. You guys had to deal with it. I'm sure it was painful when it happened. You guys got over it pretty quick for MetLife.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of MetLife. I wanted the West Side Highway Stadium that Woody Johnson had proposed, and too bad that the oligarchs in New York City are so short-minded, considering the Jets were willing to pay for the whole stadium themselves. I think that it would have been great for the city. And I think that it would have been something that would have been super, super good for the city. But unfortunately, the council decided they didn't want to do it, and that's typical of Manhattan. There's always gridlock down there. They just don't get it.
Oh, there you go. Just wondering. I knew you'd have a unique perspective on it. Sunday night game. Ooh, good game. Atlanta at New England. Atlanta is plus 3.5. I don't know why New England didn't get the points in this.